It is January 25th, about 5 p.m. in the evening, and welcome to a taste of winter in southern Ontario. Oshawa, southern Ontario that is. Areas north of me I know are getting a lot more snow. You can see the pond here, completely snowbound at the moment. Temperature is 0, but with the wind it feels like minus 10 Celsius. So definitely on the chilly side. The Cinnabon here is thoroughly enjoying the snow and getting out and playing in the fresh snow, and I'm not enjoying it as much because I'm going to have to come out here and shovel a little bit later on this evening. And you can see the snow that's starting to accumulate in the driveway there. It is heavy snow, definitely the kind you like if you're making snowmen, not the kind you like if you have to do a shoveling. It does look nice on the trees, I have to admit that. And on the lantern you can see over here, and on my lantern there by my filter pit, you can also see how that looks. And as I said, looks very, very nice. Just a pain in the butt when it comes to shovel. And I'm not sure if you can hear that on the camera or not, the wind. You can certainly see the trees moving there. One's across here in the neighbor's yard. So it is very, very chilly. I see Cinnabon making little doggy snow angels there. She's absolutely loving this. And I'm glad somebody is, because I am certainly not, knowing that I've got to get out here, as I said, a bit later on and do some shoveling. Weather predictions for this area of southern Ontario are for upwards of 20 centimeters by the time this is all finished, late tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures are expected to drop somewhat, and we're due for more snow Thursday into Friday again, and then the weekend I think is supposed to give us a bit of a break. So for my friends and subscribers in the UK, I hope you're enjoying your ponds, getting out there, being able to see the fish, and please keep us in mind when you're looking at your fish and enjoying everything you have there weather-wise. I know it gets a little chilly, but compared to what we're going through now, big difference. I wish we had the same kind of weather as you have. I would certainly appreciate that here. And as I know most of you now, your ponds are open and running. This one, there's a good 3 or 4 inches of ice at least underneath that layer of snow. And it's going to be a while before we see open water again. So on that note, I am going to go back in the house and warm up. I just came back in from taking Cinnabon for her evening walk, and going to go inside, probably grab a cup of coffee, sit down and watch some of the news and the weather, see what's going on, and then get out here later on this evening. Hopefully the wind will die down. If it continues too much, then that'll be a tomorrow project to get out and do shoveling and clearing. So on that note, I'm going to say farewell for the moment. I say enjoy your ponds, and I'll be bringing some more updates on the filter mods for the indoor pond, how they're working and everything. I will be bringing that along shortly. So thank you all again. Please keep your fingers crossed that we here in the chilly north of Canada get some good warm weather sooner rather than later. And on that note, I will end the video here and go inside and get warm. Be back with an update on how things are going before too long. And you can see my little snow dog here now, covered in snow. So I got to get her in and warmed up as well. So take care all, and I will be back with you before too much longer. January 26th, about 9:15 in the morning. Just thought I would bring the camera back out and show you a little bit more of the continuation of the snow from yesterday. You can see that the pond has even more snow on it now. Temperature out here at the moment is about minus 14, so colder than it was yesterday. I'm going to head out now with my snowblower and try and get the driveway cleared once again. I did it yesterday evening. It was too heavy for the blower to work properly, so it was shoveled. It took about an hour to get it cleared. Definitely a pain in the butt to get things done, but such is life. I think we're supposed to have a bit of a break in the snow today, but they are predicting more again for Saturday. So we're not out of the woods yet as far as that. And again, as depressing as all the snow does seem to be in the gray skies here, it does look really nice on the trees. You can see the fence on that side of my property there, and on this side, that's chain link fence. And even that has caught the snow, making it almost solid. So I'm going to, as I said, get working on this. If looking at all this is making you feel a little chilly, especially for those folks in the UK, please pop over and check out Low Magros Pond from the French Connection. Her pond is completely enclosed, and I know she did a video recently and showing you the pond, and it looks just like summertime in there. Absolutely gorgeous, and the fish are looking amazing. Also pop over, if you haven't already done so, and check out Vince at the Twisted Koi. His pond, although not enclosed, is looking wonderful. Fish are doing really well, and again, open water, fish are happy, Vince is happy, and definitely gives you a warmer feeling than what you're looking at here with the snow. So on that note, I'm going to put the camera away and get working at clearing out the driveway once again, and hopefully the plow will be along a little bit later to get things cleared up, so at least we'll be able to get the car out if need be. So take care, stay warm, and I'll bring you some more updates later on. Once I get the snow all done, I'm going to head inside and we'll get on with that video to clear up rather to get the filters on the indoor pond up and running for a cleaning cycle, and I will bring that along to you just to show you how well they've been doing since I made the changes. Be back with you soon. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of my setup here. This is my indoor pond where I house my koi for the winter, approximately 2,000 gallons in volume. You can see a few of the koi kind of just cruising around in there now, and they are looking, as always, for some food, which I will be giving them in a little while. What I have done recently is modified the filtration system on the pond. It's all DIY, and I've done it to improve the filtration. The media that was in the barrels, which you'll see in a few moments, previously was sponges and rollers and all kinds of different material in there. It worked well, but it was very difficult to clean. So I opted instead to change the way the system was laid out and to include media in there now. The first barrel, which you'll see in a moment, is primarily K1 with some K3 added in there as well as a static filter. The next barrel, also static, is K plus media, and in the final barrel here at the end is my moving bed filter, and that is K plus media in there as well. The K plus media I had shipped over from the UK because it's almost impossible to get here in Canada. The blue hose that you see coming down there connects to my DIY shower tower over here. So the water's fed directly from the pump, which is a submersible pump, approximately in the middle of the pond where the bubbles are coming up there. The one line feeds directly into the shower, which is there, and there's two returns from the shower that I'll show you in a moment, going back into the pond, and then the other line feeds into the first blue barrel, which in turn feeds the second one, which feeds the third one, the moving bed, and then that's the return for it there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the filters in a moment, and I'll show you how I do that. But I just wanted to sort of show you again what's down here with respect to the fish. So these are the koi on this side, and on this side of my divider are my sturgeon. I have a short-nosed sturgeon in here. He is approximately 3 feet or a little bit longer in length, and a sterlet sturgeon, which is a bit smaller. So what I'm going to do now that I have to do for cleaning is to turn the pump off, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So you can just bear with me for a moment here. Okay, so as you can hear, the water is stopping, and I will explain the reason for that in just a moment. So again, this is the sturgeon side. They'll be moving around, and you'll get hopefully have a little bit better look at them shortly. The koi, which is here, just cruising around as I mentioned. You can see the water starting to kind of just slow down, so as the barrels drop down a little bit in volume there, that will stop as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move around now and give you a little bit better look at the barrel setup itself, and then we'll explain how I do the cleaning of the barrel. So just bear with me for a moment. So again, this is the first barrel here. Hopefully you can see some of that. That's a static media in there. The water comes in through this line here, down through the valve, and goes down almost directly to the bottom of the barrel. So any waste that's accumulated in the pond that gets picked up by the pump goes to the bottom of the barrel and then comes up through the media, kind of like an upflow filter. That one then through this line here feeds into the second barrel. Again, with the first one is the K1 media in there. This is K plus media in this one here. This is the inlet from that one. Again, it goes to within about an inch or two of the bottom of the barrel, so any water coming through has to come upwards through the K plus media. It then goes through this perforated pipe, which then feeds into my moving bed, which is here. Again, this is the inlet from the second barrel. That goes to the bottom of the barrel within about an inch or two, and then the return water comes through this pipe here back into the pond, and that was that white elbow and pipe that I showed you a few moments ago. Now to clean the filters, what I do is quite simply, I take the air stone here, comes out of the moving bed, and it gets placed into the first static filter. So that then will get this media moving. And I'll let you get just a little bit of a look at it there. And I do apologize. The camera's a little bit shaky. I have to move around to get to it here. So hopefully you can see a little of that moving around. I know the light is not the best down in this corner. So I just kind of move this around until I get a good flow coming up. And this agitates the media in there. I'll let that run for about 10 minutes. And I will turn the video off. I'm not going to have you sit and kind of watch that for 10 minutes. But I'll let that agitate. Once that's done, I open the valve, which is here. And that's hard plumbed into my sump barrel that I will show you in just a moment, which is right here. And this is the line that comes from that valve we just looked at. This is from the third blue barrel. There's a similar valve from the second barrel there. The water then runs down through this hose, which will be in the barrel in a moment. And then my sump pump pumps the water into a basement drain. And I'm going to have to do it this way to get the proper drainage going for the filter system itself. So what I'm going to do is I will let that other barrel agitate for about 10 minutes, and I generally do that about 2 times. Then I'll do the second barrel as well. Same process. And then once that is done, I will start to top up the pond, because I'm going to lose roughly 200 gallons or so of water. So that makes it about a 10% water change each time I do the filters here. And as you see, the koi are just kind of cruising around. I know they do change their swimming habits slightly when the when the pumps are turned off. But they do very fine in here. They're doing very well. And having the tower here, I think, has made a difference. It's certainly adding some more aeration to the pond and is giving a bit more current in there. You can just kind of see that's the short-nosed sturgeon that's just coming along there now. You might see him as he comes up the other side because he's constantly moving around the pond. There he goes there. The sterlet sturgeon, which is a bit smaller, spends most of his time down near the bottom. He's not quite as showy, shall we say, as this one here. The reason I have the divider in between the sturgeon and the koi is that, as any of you who keep koi know, the sturgeon are bottom feeders and the koi are very prolific eaters. They don't care if it's on the bottom or floating pellets or anything like that at all. And I did find that when I had the divider removed, if I could feed the koi first with their floating food or mealworms, whatever it happened to be, and then feed the sturgeon the floating or the sinking pellets, and the koi would immediately turn and go after the sinking food, so the sturgeon were actually losing out on some of their food. So I have to separate them here. When the koi are moved outside to my pond in the summer months, the divider is taken out of the pond here, gives the sturgeon the entire volume of the pond to cruise around, and I know they do enjoy that. So on that note, as I said, the first barrel is bubbling right now. I'm going to turn the camera off at this point. I will show you once I get the second barrel going with respect to the aeration, just to bubble it up, and I get the cleaning done, and then I will get back to you at that point. And once the system has been cleaned and is fully up and running, I will just get the video going again. So on that note, I'm just going to stop things here, and I'll be back very, very shortly. Alright, the barrel has been bubbling for approximately 10 minutes now, and it's continuing to do kind of the boil. You sort of see it happening there. Again, I do apologize, the light's not the best. What I'm going to do now is open that valve, and that's it here. So that is now open, and the dirty water from the filter is now coming into the sump barrel. And you'll be able to see, you know, some of the water itself, the condition of it. Okay, the barrel had been boiling for approximately 10 minutes, and the water is now draining into the sump barrel. And hopefully you'll be able to see the color of the water, indicating that it has definitely picked up some waste material from the pond. And that will continue to run now till that barrel is empty. Now it will, as I say, fill up to a certain point in the barrel itself, and then the sump pump will kick in automatically to get the water draining out of the barrel itself. So this is the sump pump over here, and you can hear it's just come on now. It has a float switch in there, so that will drain the water down and will then automatically shut off, as it just did when it gets to a certain point. The water will continue to run until the pump kicks back on again. It'll do it a couple of times before that barrel is completely empty. Once the water has stopped coming out, I will turn the valve, or close the valve, and turn the pump back onto the pond, which will refill that barrel. Then I'll let it boil again for, again, roughly another 10 minutes. And at that point, come down, do it a second time, and then once that's done, drain it, refill. Then I'll move on to the second barrel and do the same process twice. So again, it takes a little bit of time with respect to just waiting for the boil, but the actual sort of physical maintenance of it is only a matter of a few minutes each time. When I had the sponges and the other media in the barrels, it would take me anywhere between 20 minutes, half an hour just to clean the sponges themselves. So that definitely was a pain in both the neck as far as the timing was concerned, and a bit of a pain in the back having to reach up over the barrels, get the sponges out, etc. kind of thing. Definitely a bit of a nuisance. So I say this will, the water will come up to a certain point, as I said, in the sump barrel. Then it gets pumped down into the drain down here in the basement. And I'll repeat that cycle, as I said, for the next barrel. Do that twice and then get the system back up and running. So on that note, I'm just going to turn the camera off, put it down here now. We'll do the fill up, second barrel, show you the same thing, and just show you the amount of waste that has probably collected, although not as much because it's already been filtered once. And then the cycle will continue, 2 dumps on the second barrel, and then the pond will get up and running again, and I will top up the water that's lost, and it's roughly 200 gallons of water, because these are 55-gallon barrels, and they're not quite full to the top just by virtue of the way the plumbing is set up. So I'm going to put things down now, and I will get back to you shortly. I have just started the second barrel draining. It's been bubbling for about 10 minutes now. So you can see the water slowly draining down there. And once this is drained, I will refill the barrel, do it one more time for another flush, and then get the filters and the pond running again. You can just hear the sump pump has kicked in there a few moments ago. This is the pipe I was mentioning, the feed from the first barrel. And you can see that pipe is going down under the water here now, and again that goes down to approximately 2 inches off the bottom of the barrel. So any of the water which is coming through from the first barrel, which is this blue one over here, come through the fitting into this pipe all the way down to the bottom, and then the water flows up again through the media, through this pipe here and into the moving bed filter, and then from there back into the pond with the fish. This barrel and the second barrel over here each contain approximately 35 to 40 liters of the K Plus media, and that is again what's kind of doing a lot of the filtration. This one is the first barrel with the K1, K3 media in there. Again, about 45 liters or so of that in there. So that's your primarily mechanical first stage. This becomes the mechanical second stage, or a bit more polishing. And then this one becomes the bio chamber once the airstone gets put back in following the cleaning. This one can be drained as well from time to time should the need arise through this valve and get into the barrel here, the sump. So I'm going to let that drain. I won't bother showing you kind of the second operation on that one, because same thing. Once I get things up and running, then I will definitely get you back into the picture here and let you know what's going on. And on that note, just put the camera down for now, and I'll be back again soon. Alright, the filter cleaning has been completed. Both of the barrels, number 1 and number 2 there, have had 2 flushes and been running with the boiling for about 10 minutes each. This is now back in operation for the system itself. You can see that everything is looking okay in here. The water is topping up the pond, and then once that's done, everything will be back to the way it normally should be until the next cleaning, which will be in 2 to 3 days. So on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all again for kind of hanging in there and watching along with me as I move through different things with the filters and things I'm doing with the koi. And I do appreciate your support. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already done so. Please feel free to leave a comment below, as they're very much appreciated, as is your support. And remember, if you're like me, keeping koi is not just a hobby, it is an obsession. Thank you all, take care, and stay safe.